In 1999, a few years after the genocide, I moved to Rwanda and I went to college in Rwanda. And while I was in college, I met a little girl called Naomi. Naomi was singing in the children's choir. She didn't have shoes on, but all the other kids had shoes. At the end of the service, I went to her and I asked her where she was from and what she did. And I found out that Naomi was actually the head of the household. Her mom was dying of HIV/AIDS. I went to Naomi's home and Naomi became our first sponsored child.
In 2001, I went to Rwanda for the first time. And I had done mission work all over the world, but nothing affected me the way coming to Africa did. We saw what had happened in this country in the genocide, and every member of that team was deeply impacted. We just came home and we wept. There wasn't much else we could do. And so we began to work with people in Africa saying, how can we help?
And I remember Doug talking to me and saying,
I said, if we come back, do you want to work with us? Help set things up. He said, great.
He came back in 2003 and we had 11 sponsored children.
And we started recruiting sponsors and taking people over to Africa in teams. I met a young child, 5 years old, named Patience. When he was 6 weeks old, he'd been abandoned. A young woman who had nothing heard him crying, took him in, and she just took care of him, but she had nothing herself. So I sponsored Patience, and every time I come back, I get to see him and spend time with him. It's been a life-changing thing for me that I can see this young man, who's now about 18, and say, through my help and this kind woman, we have been able to take care of this young man. He's grown up, he's got health care, he's fed, he's clothed, he's got an education. And so then we started working on one project after another.
We have worked together to build 3 schools now, 2 schools in Rwanda and 1 school in Burundi. And God has really blessed the work.
But through this organization, we are still touching the lives of families in need.
We still have hungry people, we still have sick people, we still have children who are not going to school. But there is hope. There is hope that as more of us come together to put our resources together, to put our faith together, we are going to see a new Africa, and we'll all look back and say, we have been part of this.
If we want to help this nation long term, we will do it best through educating their children. And we believe that our eventual goal here is not just to help a child for a while, but through this, we are going to change nations. And so the work has spread to Burundi and Uganda. We've built schools, but ultimately we have as our motto, we are changing nations one life at a time.
When you see the children who are singing right now, these children are a token of the evidence that God is transforming Africa.
Not everyone has the chance to go to Africa, but I believe that just about everyone can sponsor a child. It costs about the same as a cup of coffee each day. And so through that, you know that you're changing the life of this child, feeding them, clothing them, getting them health care and education. And that's a simple thing that almost everyone can do. I have seen students as young as 16 years old, high school students, take on the responsibility to sponsor a child. We also take teams over there, and sometime you may want to join one of our teams. We've done everything from working in refugee camps to construction to performing arts and working with local churches. And I guarantee you, if you join one of our teams, come to Africa, it will change your life.